Hi, this is Paul from Model Builder International, and we're here today with a review of Modelcollect's T-64BM2 main battle tank, part number UA72065. So, the T-64 started off as a Russian tank introduced in the late 60s, first known to the West, the late in 1970, I think. It's a pretty advanced tank. It sort of diverged from the previous Soviet doctrine of basically cheap and cheerful. It's a more advanced tank, more complex, an auto-loader, better armoured, better gun, and it's still a reasonably good tank by modern standards. Now the BM2 tells us that this is a Ukrainian upgrade. This was done in the late 90s. And they added, it fires a different anti-tank guided missile through the gun, reactive armour, I think a different engine as well, better sighting system. So basically a complete upgrade basically done by the Ukraine. So what have we got in the box? It's a standard box. There's nothing else on the outside. The box feels pretty full actually. So let's have a look-see. What do we get? So there is one set of instructions, Modelcollect usual format, with fold-out black and white, shiny paper, nice clear images. Shouldn't be any problems working out what goes where. I quite like their instructions, they're straightforward, and yeah, they use plenty of steps. Inside we have one bag with, as you can see, quite a lot of sprues in it, and some loose sprues. Let's have a look, see what we got. Seems to be one part has come off somewhere. I'll leave that in the box so I don't lose it. Right, let's get rid of the box and have a look, see. So, first thing I notice, there's a brass barrel in here. That's nice. And we have a pretty big decal sheet, oh, two decal sheets in fact. So look at those. There's a smaller one at the back with lots of numbers. And there's another one on the front here, so it seems like there's plenty of options here for different variants, different paint schemes. I wonder how many paint schemes are actually in the instructions. Let's have a look, see how many we can find here. Where are they? Here we go. There's just the two paint schemes here. But look at those again in a second. But it looks like Modelcollect like to give you lots of extra decals. So with a little bit of research, you can do your own thing here. You don't have to sort of follow their guides or the painting guides. So that's good. Let's have a look, see exactly what those decal sheets look like. Right, just getting the reflections right so I can see how much backing sheet is on here. And it looks like there's hardly any surrounding backing sheet on these. And they look nicely coloured. Do some close-ups of some scans of those and so you can have a closer look. And we have some photo etching here. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, oh there, 4 small photo etch frets. Again, they've got a plastic sheet on them to protect them, which is handy when you're cutting them out so they don't go flying everywhere. So that's a nice little touch. There's quite a fair few pieces of photo etch on there. And this looks like, oh, some extra little instructions to go with, what's this for? Commander's shield. So I'll have to have a closer look at those, see what they're about. We have a lower hull, some nice detail on the bottom there. all one piece. Yeah, nice details there. We have two sets of tracks. They're nicely detailed for 1/72. Link and length, obviously, as you can see. I think I prefer these to any of the rubber band type for sure. What do we have here? We have a nice turret. This is mostly turret parts. Top of the hull, side skirts. Again, some nice detail on there. Look nice. The ejector pins, those on the back of these things. So that's nice. Side skirts. I don't think you'd see any of these ejector pin marks anywhere. Attachment points look. Basically, they sort of vary in size depending the size of the piece they were attaching. A bit bigger for the bigger bits, and they come down to over here on the left. You can see they're a lot smaller for the small pieces. And this looks like mudguards on the sides. Again, a lot of nice detail on there. Ejector pin marks on the back where nobody will see them. So what we get in the bag, this is our usual self-sealing bag, so we can open this up. And inside here we have 2 sprues like that. So basically another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprues. So what I'm kind of thinking is what comes in the bag is these bits here, and these are like a standard sort of T-64 bag of pieces. The extra sprues over on this side are the extra bits you'll need for the this particular variant, the BM2 variant. Obviously the lower hull stays the same, but I can see we've got a new turret, we've got some new side skirts. On this one there's some nice detail at the top here, lots of reactive armour on that one. There's some of the main hull parts. Again, lots of nice detail on this. And a lot of parts, like most of Modelcollect kits, there is a lot of parts for 1/72, a lot of small parts on here as well. A lot of fine detail. Basically you're getting, let's look across here, even here there's like 2 front plates here, lots of options you're going to have. My guess is you're going to have quite a few bits left over here. We've got 2 turrets, 2 front glasses plates, different sets of mudguards. So lots of parts, lots of options, a lot of details. I think you're going to have a fair few bits left over, like I said. So it looks like they're giving you basically a standard T-64, just off the top of my head, and then giving you the option, just throwing in the extra sprues so you can build this one. As you can see, there's here. I'll go through this in more detail in a second. I'm just going to flick through this now. So basically, we've got everything's labelled as to which sprue you have to go to for which part. So there's 9 steps there. 10, 11, so 15 steps gets you through the whole thing. 2 painting guides at the back. Everything's called out in ammo, which is fine for me. I seem to be using more and more ammo paints these days. I quite like them, especially the fact I can just either paint with them or put them straight in the airbrush. I don't have to water to dilute things down. Like I said, there's lots of decals in here, so you can actually do a bit of research and do your own thing. So First impressions, it's a nicely detailed 1/72 scale kit, lots of parts for a 1/72 scale kit. You're going to end up with a lot of detail on this one. It'll take a bit longer than most 1/72 kits, but hopefully the end result should be worth it. I'm just noticing here there's a plastic barrel in there. In fact, two plastic barrels, which are obviously replaced by the brass barrel that's been supplied as part of the kit. Looks like a fair few bits and pieces left over. So let's have a close-up and go through the parts and have a close-up look at some of the parts. So the first step is pretty straightforward, as you can see, not much to this one. Interestingly, the barrel is labelled as part C12, which is plastic. There's no mention of the brass barrel that you can see here that's used instead. Nice detail on the top of the turret, as you can see. So step one, pretty straightforward. In step two, we're starting to add some reactive armour onto the left-hand side of the turret. Some nice detail there, and the first pieces of photo etch are starting to go on. Step three, still on the turret, adding more photo etch and a driver's hatch to the turret. Step four, still on the turret, adding detail that's going to go on to one of the hatches on top, the external machine guns. Step 5, yet again, turret. Now we're adding more pieces on the right hand side of the turret. And step 6, we're adding some bigger pieces again to the turret. That's the first 6 steps are all on the turret, adding a lot of detail on there. We turn over the page and step 7, we're adding fuel tanks to the rear of the hull. I'm also putting together the front of the hull. Step 8 is the simplest step so far, just putting together the two pieces we made in step 7, just pulling those together. Step 9, adding side skirts onto the sides of the larger part we made in part 8. And now, turning over the page again, step 10, we add the running gear to the lower hull. Step 11, putting all the wheels together. We've got 14 wheels of 2 parts each and the 2 drive sprockets. And step 12 is adding those to the lower hull. Step 13, add the link and length tracks. And now basically we're just, last 2 steps, we're pulling everything together. Step 14, add the lower hull to the top hull. And step 15, put some final parts on. And that's it, 15 steps. A lot of the steps are dealing with the turret. And then we come on to what's interesting is you've got a lot of decals, but there's not a single decal mentioned on the 2 painting guides. And the 2 painting guides, as I said, they're called out in ammo paints. Doesn't indicate where these vehicles are from. So you'll have to do a bit of research to work out what decals you're going to use, what painting scheme you're going to use. And that's about it. You're going to have lots of pieces left over at the end of this one. It looks like it's basically a standard T-64 kit for the most part, with some extras thrown in to make it into a T-64BM2. Overall, like most of Modelcollect's kits, they're very detailed for a 1/72 scale kit. The level of detail is probably comparable to a 1/35 scale kit. So it'll take a while to build, lots of small parts, but you will end up with something that looks quite impressive. So overall, it should be a fun build. Won't take up much space on the shelf. Many thanks to Modelcollect for sending the sample for review. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you.